5-second board is shown then. We're ready to go racing here at Oulton Park. 15 minutes for the Jello Racing Cars F1000 Championship. The lights have gone out, the race underway, but some not getting away. Unfortunately, we'll try and pick up on who those are. There's 3 or 4 cars that have not started the race by the looks of it, but the rest of them are heading down through Oulton Corner and down towards Cascades for the first time. There's still 1 or 2 cars that are stationed on the grid, but it's Rob Wellen, number 5, that's in the lead of the race. And that's a big, big moment for Craig Pollard, who's off all over the grass at Cascades on the first lap. So he's exited second place. I think that's promoted Tom Gadd, who was on the front row in any place. And Matt Higginson, who started in 6th place, is now up into 3rd spot. So a dramatic start to this race.
Had all the hallmarks of cold tyres, that for Pollard. The car just didn't want to turn into Cascades, understeered onto the grass, did well not to spin it completely, actually. One of the drivers slow away was Chaz Heighton, significantly. 4th on the grid, the number 17 car. Didn't get going. He did eventually get going, but some way adrift of the rest of the pack as one car absolutely clatters the curbs at the Britain chicane. These cars are a handful on cold tyres, aren't they? And a few drivers really demonstrating that on the opening lap. There's an attempted overtake there for 4th position, but James Clennell just about manages to hang on, and that was the 19 of Sam Satchwell trying to get through. But perhaps because of some of the delayed starts, we've got that top 5 breakaway already as we come towards the end of lap 1.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a strange feel to it, because it was a bit of a disjointed start, that, wasn't it? So there's Higginson. He gained from all of this. He's the local driver, multiple RGB champion, driver of car number 83. He's from Chorley in Lancashire. Looks like there's a bit of a challenge on behind him though for 4th position. That's the 19 car of Sam Satchwell. He's challenging James Clennell. Satchwell 10th in the championship. Dan Gore is one of the cars that was involved in all of that at the start. He's now heading out of the pit lane. I think Hales Cole, one of the others that belatedly heading out into the race. So they are going to be just over a lap down by the time they get going. So really this is going to be a little more than an elaborate test session for them now.
Yeah, that is a shame because they've got a lap down, as you said. So in a short race like this, no way to get that time back. So yeah, a couple of the expected front runners not going to play any real further part in this, but we do have this interesting battle going on, don't we, towards the front of the field for what I believe is 3rd position. Matt Higginson then doing his best to hang on, having made a really good start. Yes, he benefited from Chaz not getting away, but Chaz was the car directly in front of Matt on the grid, so Matt actually did a good job to avoid hitting him, and obviously didn't lift off the throttle one bit because he accelerated through into 3rd position, and although he's losing touch to the leaders, is holding on to that 3rd place well. The leaders themselves, though, Ian, I would say getting closer together.
Yeah, we've not got lap times upon our TSL timing screen at the moment at the end of lap 1, which is not helping things, but we'll hopefully get that sorted out with the timekeepers a little bit later on. But yeah, certainly the top 2 not too far apart. Then you've got 3rd, 4th and 5th right together, but it's Rob Wellham, number 5, in the lead of this race. The 22-year-old from Ipswich, a vehicle technician, ahead of Tom Gadd, who's 26 from Lincoln. He was champion last year in F1000. He was champion low cost in 2019 as well. As we're coming up towards the end of the first lap, we do now have some data at the end of the first lap, and now the end of the second lap. There's a 1/4 of a second between the 2 leaders. That's all. Tom Gadd very much in striking distance as they head out of Old Hall Corner and down towards Cascades. Can he do anything about Rob Wellham?
Yeah, I thought he might have had a look up the inside of Old Hall Corner, but was just a bit too far back. Of course, the problem really for Tom is that you don't do a lot of braking in these cars. You can carry an immense amount of speed into the corner, and that makes it a challenge to outbrake the car ahead. The bigger the braking zone, the more scope there is for overtaking into the corners. So it may be that Tom has to try and force a mistake out of race leader Rob Wellham, but mistakes don't come frequently from Rob Wellham, and that might then make it even more of a challenge to find a way through. It's a similar story really. Higginson and Clennell absolutely nose to tail in their battle for 3rd place as they head through Britain's.
Yeah, and we've got green flags at the end straight because there's yellow flags at delay, but that's because there's a car that's pulled up on the entrance to the pit lane. We'll see if we can pick that up on the stream in a moment, but it might be Dan Gore possibly that has come to a stop again. We'll try and work that out in a moment, but in the meantime, watching this battle for 3rd place, James Clennell, who's been racing in Formula V. He actually commutes to these races. There it is. It's the 3 coming out track. That's Tom Westworth, who started from the back of the grid. He's vacated the car in any case. Yeah, James Clennell, he commutes from Manhattan for every race. He started out racing in Formula V, I think, about 13 years ago when he was living in the UK. moved over to New York, thinking about 2013, but kept commuting over to racing in Formula V. Couldn't commute for a few years because of COVID travel restrictions, and now is back in F1000. But we've got the yellow flags, of course, covering that Tom Westworth car that's pulled onto the side of the track at Dearly. Meanwhile, the leaders, the gap's come down because Tom Gadd has done the best lap of the race, 1:34.520. It's a lap record, and it's got him to within just over 2/10 of the race leader.
Yeah, Rob Wellham had a little slide coming out of Lodge Corner then, and I wonder whether that might present an opportunity into Old Hall Corner for Tom Gadd, but alas, no, he's still sat in the wheel tracks of the race leader. But as you said, only a couple of tenths of a second back. We had a change for 6th on that lap as well. The recovering Chaz Heighton now up into 6th position. That's at the expense of Mark Betts, who started 9th, so had gained a few spots from where he began the race. That was the only change of position inside the top 10 on that lap. But car number 17, one worth watching.
Yeah, it certainly is. These are the two leaders heading up over Hilltop for the 4th time in this race. There's just over 9 minutes of it left to go, and they are getting quite a long way clear now of Matt Higginson in 3rd place. The gap from 2nd to 3rd was 3.6 seconds at the start of the lap, so Higginson, who qualified in 6th place, not quite able to live with the pace of these two. He was only about 7/10 of a second off their pace in qualifying this morning, but Wellham and Gadd seem to be in a bit of a class of their own. Craig Pollard, by the way, is back to 8th after going off at Cascades on the opening lap. We'll see if he makes up any more places, but the battle for 3rd intensifying, as we're just seeing on screen there, the number 18 car of Cals Cole. So she was one of the cars that started from the pit lane and is a lap down, but actually at the moment classified in 12th because of dramas for others.
Leaders back across the line then, and once again, Tom Gadd not quite close enough to throw it up the inside at Old Hall Corner. What about Clennell versus Higginson? Looks to the inside, does James Clennell, but like I said, difficult to make that move stick, and Matt Higginson was confident in taking that outside line going into the corner that he would have the momentum on the exit down the avenue, which proved to be the case. So Matt Higginson stays in 3rd position as they plunge downhill through Cascades, and through that quick left-hander you can see Clennell struggling to follow Higginson. These cars do generate a fair amount of downforce, so the dirty air, the turbulent air, just dropping Clennell back ever so slightly, and he's now got to try and get back into the rhythm, build some momentum and close back onto the gearbox of the 3rd placed man. But yeah, so far Higginson defending that position well as the leading two head through Britons with maybe a length or so more of an advantage now for the leader. Yeah,
that's right. So we're coming up to the halfway point in this race. So maybe Tom Gadd is just sort of regathering himself, ready for a renewed effort in the second half of this race. They're 6 seconds or more now clear of Higginson in 3rd place. So he's lapping on the last lap in the high 136s. So I wonder if he's slowing himself up with trying to demand from James Clennell and Sam Satchwell in the battle for 3rd position. Chaz Heighton is closing in on those three as well. I think we're about to see the top 3 just coming, or the next 3 coming into Druid. So there they are. And yeah, they're in the background now. You can just about see Chaz Heighton in the number 17 car. He's not quite latched himself onto the back of this group yet, but give it another lap or so and he might well do. The driver who featured well, I think, in last season, his first season of racing in the F1000s.
New fastest lap, therefore race lap record for Rob Wellham, a 1:34.2, so now within a quarter of a second of his own pole position time earlier on.
Chaz Heighton's just done the best lap of the race, a 1:34.187, so that's the new lap record, and he's there in 6th place, so he really is closing in on the cars in front of him. He was 1.6 seconds faster than the group in front of him on that last lap, so he's really got his head down.
Wow, so as I was explaining, Rob Wellham had the fastest lap already. That was out of date before I finished the point. Chaz Heighton absolutely flying, and yeah, what was it, a 34.1 means that he is, that's actually quicker than he went in qualifying, I believe. In fact, it's exactly the same lap time to the 1,000th of a second that he set in qualifying. That is some consistency.
It certainly is. That's really impressive stuff, and he has now latched himself onto this group, hasn't he? But as Gerald Murray Walker used to say, catching is one thing, passing is quite another, and we've already seen it's not easy around here to make a move in these F1000 cars. James Clennell's about to prove me an idiot, isn't he? Up the inside he goes. No, he's not quite done it. Thank you, James, for pulling out of that one at the last moment. But James Clennell still there in 4th. Behind him, Sam Satchwell in 5th. Chaz Heighton 6th, but it's 4 cars now for 3rd place.
Yeah, that was all triggered by a mistake from Higginson. He hit the curb too hard at Britons. That slowed him over the top of the hill, allowed Clennell to attack, but now Clennell has lost momentum, and the 2 cars behind gang ganging up on him. That was Heighton looking to the inside of Satchwell at Druids. In the end, they're all still in the same positions, but this battle is definitely starting to reach a bit of a crescendo. Down towards Lodge Corner they go. Still no moves to be made, but Chaz Heighton wants to get on with this. He's proven he's significantly quicker than these 3 cars ahead, but where can he make the move? Perhaps into Old Hall Corner. I don't think he's quite close enough. No, he's not. And so they all stay in the same positions. Higginson 3rd, Clennell 4th, Satchwell 5th, and Heighton 6th. But you feel that there is an overtake looming. It's just a case of who is willing to take the risk.
Oh, and Kels Cole has had an incident there. She's got some damage to that car. She's out of the car, so that's good news. Has that happened up Clay Hill?
I think so. Maybe
Druids?
near Druids, yeah.
Yeah, so Kels Cole out of the race, I'm sad to say, but she's out of the car and looks okay, but obviously disappointed with the incident that's taken her out of the race. It looked like there was a little bit of damage to the right rear corner of the car. 2 leaders are heading back down towards Knickerbrook this time, and about 0.3 of a second between them. Tom Gadd now it is with the fastest lap and lap record. They've been passing this lap record around like a hot potato during the course of this race. And Tom Gadd, the present incumbent, and he is coming into that yellow flag zone, so that is where the Kels Cole car is off. And is that a slippery surface flag that's being shown as well? So possibly some oil down for the unwary.
Yes, not a good place to encounter a slippery surface, is it? Over a blind crest, the fastest part of the circuit in a car such as an F1000 car, the rate at which they accelerate out of Knickerbrook Corner. But it's not deterring either of these top 2 then, is it? Tom Gadd now 4 1,000ths of a second slower than he went in qualifying, but as you said, fastest lap of the race. They burst into sight over the crest at Deer Leap. He's a bit closer this time into Old Hall Corner. Does he think about the inside? The answer is no, so not wanting to take a 50-50 lunge here, is he? He's going to wait until there's a clear opportunity, and that could come in traffic, because there is a lapped car up the road that they're about to encounter. If Rob Wellham stumbles in traffic, that could be Gadd's chance to make his move.
Yeah, and that's going to be the 15 car, isn't it, of Dane Christensen, newcomer to the championship, and they pass him both pass him very easily indeed on the way through Island Bend. So down towards Shallow Corner they go. With 3 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. There's nothing to choose between these 2. Probably the 2 quickest drivers over the last few seasons in F1000. The 22 champion being followed here by the 23 champion. Rob Wellham in the number 5 car, a JRC, General Racing Cars run car. It's a TSR car, Team Sellers Racing run car for Tom Gadd. TSR having moved across from low cost, and Mazda 7's also run with the 750 Motorsport running quite a stable of these cars now in the F1000 Championship as well, and Tom Gadd, the man from Lincolnshire, staying with them. So we have got 2 minutes 40 seconds to go. We've still got the leaders' nose to tail, about 11 seconds behind them. The battle for 3rd, I think, is still raging on. We'll perhaps pick up on a gain on that in a moment. They are probably going to have 2 more laps to go here, Andy, aren't they?
They are indeed. You're right about that battle for 3rd still raging. Chaz Heighton got past James Clennell on the previous lap, and I think was having a go at Sam Satchwell into Old Hall Corner. The checkered flag, though, is being waved, so that is the race over. So because we are behind time, they're ending the race early, and so Rob Wellham here is your race winner.
He is indeed, so that's caught us a little bit off guard. And who's going to be 3rd then? Up to the line they come. It's Higginson. Oh, is it? Oh, he just hold on from Chaz Heighton by 0.04 of a second in the end. So they were probably as surprised to see the checkered flags we were. I'm sure that gave Chaz Heighton just extra motivation to try and urge his car over the line as he crested Deer Leap, but he couldn't quite do it. If the finish line had been another 10 metres further up the straight, Chaz Heighton would have been on the podium there, but as it was, a great fight for victory and a great fight for 3rd place as well. Rob Wellham, number 5, taking the win from 12, Tom Gadd. Matt Higginson, number 83, 3rd. 17, Chaz Heighton, 4th. 19, Sam Satchwell, 5th. And 42, James Clennell, completing the top 6. Craig Pollard has crossed the line in 7th, ahead of Mark Betts, James Hills. And then I think we've just got Josh Dimmant yet to come through. Dane Christensen already having completed the race. A lap down. Well, that was entertaining stuff, Andy, to start the day.
You'd expect nothing less from F1000. Always produces close racing, but Rob Wellham drove superbly well under race-long pressure there from Tom Gadd. He never had more than, a quarter of a second's worth of an advantage over Tom Gadd, which is nothing in cars that are covering the ground at this sort of speed. So Wellham in fairness to him, didn't put a foot wrong, didn't make even the slightest mistake, and Tom Gad having to settle for second. And you've got to feel a bit for Chaz Heighton there, who so nearly got himself onto the podium. 42 thousandths of a second in the end was all that separated him from third place after what was an impressive recovery drive. Unlike, I must say, Craig Pollard, who of course qualified actually third on the grid, one place higher than Chaz, but having had that moment at Cascades on the opening lap, never seemed to be able to rebound. He was 30 seconds off the leaders at the flag.
You wonder if what picked some damage up when he was sort of probably bouncing over the grass. I'm not sure how forgiving that grass at Cascades is to something like an F1000 single-seater car. So it may have been just something on the setup had been knocked awry, and he wasn't able to lap in the paces that we'd seen this morning. Yeah, his best lap was a 1:35.3 compared to the low 1:34s that he'd been doing in qualifying. So probably all not quite right with that car. Let's have a look at the results then from that race. Confirmation that after 8 laps it was Rob Wellham, number 5, that took the win by 0.4 of a second from number 12, Tom Gad, in second place. Third place went the way of number 83, Matt Higginson, but he was 12 seconds behind the leader and only, 42 thousandths ahead of number 17, Chaz Heighton, who took fourth. Fifth to number 19, Sam Satchwell, then sixth, James Cornell in 42. Seventh, number 92, Craig Pollard. Eighth was number 89, Mark Betts. Ninth was number 77, Josh Hills. And then the last finisher on the lead lap was number 35, which was Joshua Dimmond, with Dane Christensen a lap down and everyone else a DNF or a DNS. So we have another race later on this afternoon for the Jedi Racing Cars F1000 Championship. They are back out at around about 3:30 after the 116 trophy race. On screen we can see the marshals heading with the buckets and brooms to dress the oil that has been put down in that accident on the way up towards Druids, and hopefully they'll be able to get that incident cleared relatively quickly, and that was probably another reason why we had the checkered flag a little bit early as well, with that car stranded there on the approach to Druids Corner. Cars will be heading around on their slowing down lap and heading into Parc Fermé. All being well, we'll be able to hear from Kieran Mogg in a moment, who's on duty for us, grabbing drivers in Parc Fermé during the course of the day, but we'll hear from them. Don't forget, lots of other action going on here at BMW Live. There's those drift rides that get taking place on the infield. There's a cost associated with that, but you can certainly enjoy those. You can also head to the Fogarty Moss Centre if you want to get indoors. There's the sim racing, there's the scale electric there. There's also face painting and lots of other activities going on all around the venue as well. But we're ready to hear from Kieran Mogg now. He's down in the pit lane with our top 3 from the F1000 race.
Oh, you have to love the F1000 series. They are fantastic cars. And our first race winner of the day is Robert Wellham. Robert, fantastic race day. You really had to hold off Tom there. How was the race for you?
Yeah, it was all right. We're trying to still learn these tyres, and obviously Tom did a good job of keeping with me, and we sort of, I looked at my lap and we were sort of doing quali pace. But no, it was good. It was a good race. I don't know what happened further back, but yeah, it was interesting for us because it was a bit of a yo-yo effect with me and Tom, but he was always on my heels, so. But no, it's good. Good start to the weekend.
Absolutely. And how are you finding the car around this circuit?
The car is odd. We did a lot of testing yesterday, and found a setup now that we're confident with. But the cars are good, but it's totally different. The tyres are totally different to how they were at Brands. The tyres pretty much were dead at the end of Brands, but then we used them in testing yesterday, and they sort of come back to life. But it's good. We've got good pace around here, so I'm happy.
Absolutely. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll pass on to Thomas Gad. Thomas, so close but not quite.
Yeah, I'd say it was a good race. Me and Rob were well clear of the field, so I thought we could have a little bit of a dice here. But unfortunately, yellow flags in certain places where I felt like I was a bit quicker just sort of stifled it a little bit. But no, it's good. Nice to have a nice clean race with Rob, and yeah, this car seems to feel good.
Do you reckon you can take him later?
I would like to see. Think so, yeah. It's reverse grid, so he's got to start behind me this time. We seem to be a bit quicker than everyone else, so hopefully now it's just going to be getting through the field.
Absolutely. Well, good luck later then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we're going to our next race now, so we're going back in time, the historic.